Welcome to Divas Two Cents, where we take complicated matters and we break them down for the masses. Every week we go live at 4 p.m. Central Time, and if something that we say, especially today, because we have a special guest today, resonates with you or your friends, please share it with your colleagues, your friends, and even your enemies, because even them, they need to know some tax strategies. So today, I am so happy to announce that we have Terri Peters as our guest. And I'm going to bring her in right now. Hi, Terri.
Well, hi, everybody. How are you?
Good. I'm sure everybody is out there. I see a couple of familiar faces. Hi, Mandy. So, Terri, talk to me. I understand that you are an enrolled agent and you're also a Main Street certified tax advisor. And you have a unique ability to take these little topics, these complicated matters, and put them all in a little, because I saw your little book, your shrink book, and it's like top 10 tax tips. Talk to me. First of all, for the audience that doesn't know who Terri Peters is, tell us who you are, and then we can kind of dive into some of the tax tips that you may have for the people out there.
Absolutely. I'd love to. So I'm Terri Peters, and I live in Naples, Florida. I moved here from Colorado, so I'm a big outdoor mountain girl that's now living at the beach. And so, it's now yoga and golf as opposed to mountain biking and skiing. But as I'm getting older, I don't have to worry about getting hurt, so I'm okay with that. Though I did break my pinky toe recently in a yoga class, so
oh my
it's not
goodness.
really that safe. But as a tax person, I have been in the tax field for over 15 years, accounting for over 30, but the tax field specifically over 15. And it's always been like puppy mills for tax returns. It's how many returns can you get done? Your employer only wants you to get, hundreds of returns done. They don't care about what the numbers are. They don't want you talking to the client. They just want the client to drop things off, get the numbers in, and get it out. And I never felt good doing that. I never liked it. I always wanted to learn tax strategies, like even hiring kids under 18. And it's always, that's a red flag. We don't do that. And so I've always had the curiosity. And then I finally met Mark Kohler, or I started looking at some of this stuff like most people do. Mm-hmm. Mark Kohler has just got the greatest, most fun videos. And I thought, I really like the way he teaches. And I like the way he explains things, because as a tax professional, we're not taught these strategies in school. This isn't what we learn in college. This isn't, if you're not doing it at a firm, you're not going to learn it unless you find someone like a Mark Kohler. You take the certification course. We learn all these things. We get to fill in all the little gray areas. And to me, that gave me the confidence that I really needed to be able to suggest these strategies to my clients. But having the KQOS attorneys and being able to literally sit on a call with the attorney and start planning with your client, because they are also speaking the Mark Kohler strategies, that's what changed my whole life, my whole career. And now that my kids are out, I'm an empty nester, thank God. I can actually put 100% in my business, and I can really serve my clients in a way that I never could before. I love to talk. I always tell people I'm a cross between Mark Kohler and Rodney Dangerfield, and there's Terri Peters, because I talk like this. I'm all over. I'm very engaged. I get excited about things, and I love it. And I love being myself, because people, when they hear tax stuff, they get like, oh my gosh, their eyes are crossing. They don't want to hear it. But when they get somebody that's like, hey, did you know? And then I lay out the whole thing for them. They're like, wow, no one's ever told me that. And so to me, it's like a whole new world for tax. And so anybody who actually can work with one of us as the certified tax advisors, you're really blessing yourself, and you're blessing your family, you're blessing your future, you're blessing your business currently, because we're going to be able to give you that confidence, that push, that, game plan. We draw out the trifecta, and then we're going to be sitting there talking about where you are now and where you want to be and how we can get you there. And we do it with legal strategies that are vetted with court cases. We have access to, authors that are writing books on these strategies and stuff. So to me, who I am today is not who I was, the tax person, 5-6 years ago. I'm a completely different woman, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. And this part of my career is probably my most favorite out of all the things that I've had the blessing to be able to partake in. And I've done a lot of really cool things in my career, but this latter part of my tax career is probably my favorite, which is why I wrote the book. And it's just a simple little ebook. It was just a start, and it's the top 8, because if you're my age, 8 is enough. And so that's why I'm doing everything at 8. It's like an affinity number, it's abundance, it's, I'm all about numbers, I'm all about frequency. I've always been a math, science kind of person, pre-med when I first started college. till I realized I can't cut open a person and look under the skin. There's no way I'm going to do that. So changed to accounting. And I have to tell you, it is so much fun to be able to be on this call today and tell people that tax can be fun. It's actually exciting. When I work with a client towards the end of the year and we start going over what they've actually been able to plant in their financial garden, what they've been able to put away, and what they're feeding and building and growing, and then by year 2, year 3, I mean, it's great. And we're teaching families how to bring their families together to work together in the business. And to me, that just sets up your kids for success. And I think it's really important for us, because the financial literacy in school is not what it was not anything fancy when we were in school, but we learned a lot more than the kids in school today. And so to be able to bring our kids into the tax part of the business that a family's running is, you just can't put a price tag on it. Because I see it in my kids. My kids are super hard workers. They've got budgets. I didn't teach them the budget, but they just knew it because of the way I talk at home and the things that we do, how we run our household, and they just naturally did that. And with my clients now, their kids are loving it. They're loving being part of a conversation about the business that their parents are running. Back in my day, you didn't talk to your parents about money. You didn't know what they owned. You didn't know what they were worth. You had no idea what they made. You didn't even know what they gave to church when you go on Sunday. You don't look at that check. It's like, no. But nowadays, it's totally different, and everything is so, you can just grab it from anywhere. And so when you can grab it anywhere, you can't really not tell somebody stuff. It's easy to find information. But, so that's kind of who I am. I'm a tax gal. I feel like I'm a tax mama because I'm one of the older ones, but I have a lot of fun with it, and I love the fact that I get to help people every single day, and I get to do it with things that are fun. It's not just like, well, give me your 1099s and 1099Rs and let me go do your tax return for you. It's like, hey, do you have any debt? Are we in a debt payoff plan? Let's do a debt payoff plan. What do we got? Let's snowball it. What do we got going? Oh, I'll never get that paid. I go, really? Well, let's talk about it. And then I can introduce you to, different things. There's counseling companies that will go in and they negotiate with the credit card companies to reduce your rates. So I have clients that are part of this program, and now they're able to pay their debt off because they don't have 20 or 30% rates. Their rates are down in like 6.9, 3.9, and so now they get on a plan. And I say, okay, we'll get your debt paid off. Once we get the debt paid off, then we can start talking about retirement. Because if I don't do that, you're going to borrow in the retirement to pay the debt. So let's just do it right. Don't put the cart before the horse. Put the horse before the cart.
All right.
And I screw those things up all the time, so I'm pretty impressed that I actually got that one.
Well, for those of you that are out there listening, and you can hear and you can see Terri Peters' passion. Her passion, as you can see, is similar to mine. Numbers tell stories. Her number's 8, and that's why she wrote the book with 8 tips, tax tips for the business owner. I like 3. Don't ask me why, but I just like 3. Like 3 of this and 3 of that and 3 of that. But numbers, they just jump at us. Now, we get excited. We like numbers. We understand the intricacies of how to move these numbers around to tell the story that the business owner needs to see and understand. But for those of you out there that find, or even I have clients myself, Terri, that are afraid of the numbers. They're like, oh, I don't want to talk about numbers. And really, how many digits are there? It's just what you do with them. The passion that you're bringing, and when you bring forth and you say that this is not learned at an early age, at least my parents, you're right. My parents would say money didn't grow on trees. They didn't want to talk about it. It's something that was private, totally private between the parents. Now you can't do that. Now you have to share this information, not only with your children, but with your friends and your close ones. So if you're a business owner out there and you're curious as to, here's these 2 ladies here talking on Facebook and on Zoom about how they can take the tax code and help you with your taxes because of the planning aspect of it, not so much the preparation side of taxes, right? What would you say to someone who, couple of scenarios, someone just starting, Terri, and they come to you and they say, because I know you're passionate about this, so they say, okay, give me at least one strategy, Terri. What is one of your favorite ones in your book? Because I know you've got 8. So if you had to talk about 1, 2, 3, which ones would you go?
Well, my favorite strategy, and unfortunately I can't use it anymore, but my favorite is hire your kids under 18. I'm blown away by that strategy. And if you want me to go through and explain it, I'd be happy to explain it. So, for instance, my kids, I'll use my family. So my son was in competitive freestyle skiing. My daughter was in competitive dance. My son was also in soccer. So when you start traveling and going to these events and paying for the fees and the coaches and the costumes and all the other stuff that's going on, it ends up costing a ton of money. And that's personal expense. It's not a tax deduction. It's a personal expense. But if you're hiring your kids under 18, say I have, my tax practice, and I want my kids to, I want to be able to pay my kids to help me out in the tax practice. Maybe they're shredding papers, or maybe they're entering documents into the tax return, or maybe they're scanning documents for me, or cleaning my office, whatever. I can pay my kids for helping me. And I don't have to, and if they're under 18, I don't have to pay Social Security, I don't have to pay Medicare. I can literally just pay them and take the deduction on the business. Now, depending on what my business entity is, I have to follow certain steps. But if I'm a Schedule C, so I'm just a single member LLC reporting on a Schedule C on my personal tax return, I don't have an S Corp or anything like that, or a partnership, just my sole proprietorship, single member LLC, I can just write a check to my child's bank account, just transfer money to my child's bank account and take the deduction. And you could take up to, I don't know what it is in 24, I'm still stuck in 23, but between 13 and 14,000 is the standard deduction for federal. And so you could pay up to that much and not have to file a tax return. Now, you could pay them more than that, but they're going to have to file a tax return if it's over that standard deduction number. Now, if you I live in Florida, so we don't have state tax. But if you're in a state that has tax, you're going to want to look at that standard deduction as well. Yeah. And so you can still pay up to the federal amount or more, but you may have to file a state return if it's over the state standard deduction. If it's under the state standard deduction, it's under the federal, you don't have to. And I think that's great, because then you can fund, because it's earned income, right? So you take a spreadsheet, you write down the date they're working for you, you write in there what they're doing, how long they took to do it, and at the end of the year, you've got this spreadsheet to support that your child worked for you, what they did, how many hours they worked, and then you pay them. I think that's great, because then you can put that money in their account. They can fund their Roth. They fund their Roth with earned income. So if you ever have a company that says, if you don't have a W-2 or 1099, it's not earned income, we can't do the Roth, let me know, because we'll get you in a different type of account. Because there are definitely firms that will allow hiring your kids under 18 to be considered earned income. And it is earned income. And so to me, that's great. But then they can use it to go pay for their summer camp. You can use it to go pay for their sports. You can use it to pay for presents for their friends. And they go to all these birthday parties that we have to go to. I mean, there's so many things that they can use that, or just save the money, or spend it on a present for me. Just little things like that. But it's their money, but you take the deduction. So that reduces your taxes right there. And the fact that they don't have to pay tax on the income, that saves them money in tax. So that's my absolute favorite one.
Okay, now one thing that I do tell my clients also, you have to be aware of your state laws, labor laws, because they are children and they have school hours that they have to be. So you've got to be careful that you're not saying you have your kids working during school hours, and there's certain rules. So, but this is good. This is good. Children under 18, you got to pay them anyway. You're going to give them money for stuff anyway. So you might as well take advantage.
I think it started like with people, like the immigrants came over here and they have like a restaurant or whatever in a grocery store or something, and so their kids are part of the business, and so it's been around a long time. It's just I never knew that it was a tax strategy until I met Mark, and I was like, wait a minute, I missed the boat because my kids are all older now. So, but yeah, it's a great strategy for kids under 18, and if the kids are over 18, you can still pay them in your business and still take the deduction. You just, they're going to have to report it and pay taxes on it. And it's just going to be a little different situation because they have a W-2 or a 1099.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But isn't that exciting that you can do that? I just never, and I tell my clients this now that have the younger kids, and they're just like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, let's do it. So as long as we document properly, and like you said, you can't say they worked 8 hours, or 40 hours for the week, and it's all during school days. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what all the labor laws are for every state. So.
Right. But yes. Something to think about. Something that don't go crazy here. We understand what you're trying to do, and we also understand that we have to follow the rules.
That's our middle name when you're a tax person, or rules. And I don't like to follow rules, but I have to. So
Yep.
I do my best.
Yep, I gotcha. Okay, so give me another one. What's another one? What's one of your favorite, other favorite ones?
Well, I guess I like the board meetings also because my big thing is trying to help educate the kids and allow the kids to become, financially savvy and comfortable with finance. And so the board meetings, all my clients, I offer to every one of my clients on my concierge program to be able to hop in on 1 hour on one of their board meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me gives an opportunity because we'll pull up the QuickBooks and then I sit there and I share my screen and I show the QuickBooks and I compare from the prior year or prior quarter or each quarter of the year, each month of the year, and we kind of look through everything just to see how it all flows. Like this is your income, these are all your expenses, this is where, hey, your parents are paying you, this is where it shows up on the profit and loss, or show them what a balance sheet is, and then show them the relationship between the two. I know that sounds a little technical for kids, but they're eating it up because now they're understanding that, what assets are, what liabilities are, what equity is, how profit and loss moves into that. And so I love to explain it just because when they open their own businesses, they're going to need to know this. And so we're basically grooming the kids through these meetings to help parents understand or help the kids understand what it is about running a business. Like my son has already started 2 LLCs. Ooh. Now, he didn't need to do 2. He only needed to do 1.
How old is he? How old is
21.
your son? Oh, okay.
He's 21.
Good.
Yep. Okay. So, and my son-in-law, he started his business, and so, I help advise them. But the thing about the plan is, Mark Kohler talks about this. If you're going to go on vacation and you want to, you have your board of advisors, your family, your friends, whoever is going on your trip with you that's, part of your board, you can put that in your minutes that these people are are part of your board and we're having a meeting at this date, blah, blah, blah. But I like what Mark said. When you go to a hotel, book a meeting room for at least 4 hours. At least you're covering yourself for showing that you're going to have a meeting there, and have the meeting. Bring in food to eat, bring in pizzas, bring in sodas, bring in donuts. I don't know, depends on what time. But you make it a meeting, and you literally use ChatGPT. Type in what you want to have for your agenda for the meeting, and go down through the meeting. And the kids, they can be part of it. I mean, the kids have great ideas. And so when you start telling that stuff and start asking questions, the kids start coming up with questions, and they're really good questions. And for me, that is probably one of my favorite things besides the hiring kids under 18, because I love bringing family in, because I don't really like the W-2 mindset. You have to go to college, and then you have to go get your W-2 job working for somebody else and making them have their dream. It's great. We all need employees. But I want my kids to understand what the entrepreneurial side is as well. So if they do have that mindset that they want to work for themselves, they want to have that flexibility, or they want to do something and they want to do it themselves. They want to start the business their own way. Like my son wants to do construction. So he's working for contractors, but then he does stuff on the side. So now he has a little business on the side, and he does work for me. So he's, eventually he'll have an S corp, and then he can, put all his 1099 income in there and take all his deductions, and, he's off to the races, building out his solo 401k, whatever he decides to do. But you got to start with a business to be able to do those kind of things. So that's what we're here for. We're here to teach our clients how to set up the business properly, make sure that their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted, that they've got, the rules for running your business, separate bank account, all that kind of stuff. And having the board meeting is a requirement for an LLC. So that's one of the reasons I love it, because I want people to get excited about it. I have a client, here's a great example. He wants to retire someday and buy a place in the mountains. I'm like, all right, which mountains? Do you want the Appalachians? Do you want the Blue Ridge Mountains? Do you want the Rockies? Do you want the Sierra Nevadas? What do you want? He's like, I don't know, I've never been to the mountains. I'm like, okay, then why don't you start looking at places that have mountains in it, and that's where you have your board meetings. And then you can check them out. And then eventually you'll find which set of mountains you like. So you can use the strategy for a lot of things. But you still have to have the meeting. You still have to actually, not be fraudulent. You need to have the meeting. You need to document it and do minutes from the meeting. So that's my second one.
Excellent, excellent. For those of you that are listening and you're wondering what the heck type of meeting is Terri talking about, and why is Diva shaking her head? Oh, yeah. Well, it's a board meeting. So if you're an LLC, if you're a sole proprietor, right, you have a board of advisors. I mean, if you become an S corp, you have a board of directors. I get it, but you have to have at least an odd number of individuals that you trust, that you can confide in, that you can rely on, so that you can discuss your business with them, because they can help you grow. Terry mentioned that some of these kids are very smart, that they, I mean, you can have a child that maybe knows social media, knows the whole, can help you with all your advertising, and you can put that person on, that child on your board of advisors or board of directors, whichever one you decide to go with. But think about the skill set that your board needs to bring and enhance your business. Because the key thing is, yes, you want the deduction from the board, but you also want to get something out of it. You want to be able to utilize that board to its fullest extent to help grow your business and catapult your business for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10-year plans. Would you agree, Terri?
Totally. I totally think it's an opportunity to actually get away from the phones, get away from the every day-to-day thing of the business, and actually sit there. That's why I said have the meeting. The time will go by a lot faster than you think. So you have the meeting, you plan, you do exactly what you're saying. You finish out the year plan, you do the 2-year plan, the 3-year plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan. But you're always revising. This is where we were last year. We've accomplished these things. It's great. I love it. And then you can even pay the board members. So maybe it's not all your family. Maybe it's, like I have a brother-in-law. He graduated college with, an economics degree, and he's run businesses for years, and he knows a lot about different businesses, and I love it. So when we have a trip with them, we have a board meeting and we talk about stuff and we look at numbers together, and we talk about his business, we talk about my business, but to me it's actually helpful because he gives me some tips, like maybe he's gone through certain situations that I'm in the middle of, and vice versa. And so it helps. If you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to succeed. If you surround yourself with nobody, you're on an island, it's really hard to track what's going on, to be motivated, to celebrate, things like that. So it's nice to have a board that you can actually connect with, that inspires you and encourages you, but also, gives you some tools. And that's why I think it's great, like with us, like for me at least, I will sit on a meeting for at least like an hour of the board meeting, because I want to be able to talk about the numbers, and I'm so comfortable with them, I don't have a problem doing that. And so it helps the business owner, and it really allows the kids to understand things because they can ask questions that maybe somebody else wouldn't ask. And so I absolutely love it. It's really a great thing. And the most important part of the board meeting, aside from the tax deduction and the fact that you're helping, build and grow your business, is, like I said before, you're teaching your children how to be in a professional setting. That they're going to be sitting here having a board meeting. They're going to have a board up there. They're going to be writing down things. You're going to be talking about rules, and you're going to be talking about tax stuff, and you're going to be talking about the numbers and how many customers you have and what you're charging, and like problems that you're having collecting money, or you're not having problems collecting money. All sorts of things that will pop up. It depends on the business and what's going on, but to me it's what a business is about. Yeah, you can go out and make all your money, but if you don't have a fine and solid financial foundation and plan, you're all bondigas. What are you going to do? Yeah, absolutely. Your business is going to run you, and we don't want our clients' businesses to run them. We want their businesses to be run by our clients, and that's what we're here to help enable. So it's fun.
Yeah, it is. And we actually had a client that wasn't sure how to run his board of advisor meeting, and invited us, actually hired us to sit in on the very first one, just to make sure he had the good structure or whatever it was that his business wanted. And afterwards he said it was amazing. I mean, he was just his son was looking at him, and he was looking at his son with a different look, a different set of eyes, looking at the same thing that they see every single day. So it was really interesting. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And doesn't it feel good? Like, it makes just you telling that story made my heart just kind of like, so a little vibration there, because, we're here to help facilitate business hygiene, I guess is a good way to put it. Like, we brush our teeth, we wash our face and hands, we change our sheets, we change our towels. Well, it's the same thing in a business. You've got to reconcile your books. you got to sit and look at the numbers. You got to see what's still out, what's coming in, what do you have coming in the future, so you can plan out your spending. Like, I can't buy anything this month, anything extra, because I don't have this other income coming in until 3 months from now. But in 3 months from now, I'm gonna get this, and this, or whatever, however you want to do it. But we have a plan, and with a plan, you can achieve things. Without a plan, then you're just putting money in, taking money out. I mean, how many clients do you see, Diva, where they're a sole prac or just a single member LLC, and so they literally just pull money out as soon as it goes in. They take it out, or they're spending all their personal. They're doing all their personal stuff through the business. What's the first thing you tell them?
Yeah,
you got to separate the business and the personal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can take out money, but tell me this: what's your budget for the personal? What do you need to take out of? What do you need to take out of the account for the business to run your personal? And I want you to tell me an honest number, like. You're going out to dinner, you're getting your hair done, you get your nails done, you have a gardener, you have a pool person, you've got insurance, you want to do savings, whatever. We want to take all of those things and we want to look at that and then find a way to get that to be able to come out of the business. And so that they're not just taking it out, 200 here, 200 there. Let me take $5,000 out and put it into the personal. So that when we do payroll at the end of the year, we're not taking too much out in distributions and not enough in payroll or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but we're trying to find that fine tune to keep
Mm-hmm.
our clients so they're not having to pay capital gains tax so they took too much out because no one was paying attention.
Right,
so those
right.
are just like the little things that I try to like teach clients that because no one ever teaches it to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
They
keep
wait.
saying it's fun because it is.
Yeah, they wait till the end of the year and they bring you the little box, so they tell you, well, it's all in QuickBooks, everything was there, and you can't make heads or tails what's personal and what's business. So you're absolutely right. You can't do that. You're absolutely right. It's interesting that you say that because there was a question that came up about 2 weeks ago that someone posted that they get their haircuts and their haircuts were all tax deductible. And it was interesting, the whole scenario about their haircut, and the client was arguing that his haircut is tax deductible because he saw it somewhere. And when I say this, and I know there's quite a few people that registered, we've got the list, so we'll get to you. And if you see this on the replay, that's fine. But no, haircuts are not tax deductible. That's a personal expense. I want to put that one out there. Okay, that is a personal expense. No, I can't get my hair cut and say I needed it because Diva's 2 cents always has Diva with her bangs this way. And if they got a little bit longer, she has to cut it and she can get the tax deduction. So don't go crazy with tax deductions. Don't get hung up with tax deductions. Get hung up with tax planning on what can be deducted. Yep. And that's what Terri is here to help you do. Terri, quickly, before you go into the last one, what do you, how can people get a hold of you? So we can put it in the chat.
Yeah, let me put it in the chat.
We can put it, we'll do it for you. We'll do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it for you.
So my company is Tax Time Ledgers, and go look at my website because I really invested a lot of time and money this year in doing my website. I loved my website before, but I didn't realize how much better my website could be. And the reason I love it is because this website, it just brings more feeling into what the accounting stuff is, like what we're doing. And it shows the passion that I have for what I'm doing. And it shows, like in one part, I've got like all my memberships because I have 2 different memberships that I have, concierge programs. And so it lays it all out for everybody. But I also have a picture of a trifecta. So we always talk about Kohler's trifecta. So I've got my own version sitting on my website. And then we've got books, all of Mark's books. My ebook is all on my website under FAQs. So, if you hop on there and you want to look at what I recommend for reading, you can hop on and just click right on any of those books and you can buy it directly from the website, which I think is really cool. But it really, what it does when people read that is that you read that and you're like, oh my gosh, there's help. Help is here. This is who I want to work with. Because a lot of people are, they try to talk to different people and they just don't feel like they're anything special. Mm-hmm. It's like someone just wants to get you in. Well, I won't work with you until I talk with you for a little bit to even see if we work well together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, it's really a beautiful thing to be able to have a website that explains who I am and where my passion is, and it actually makes sense for the client. People are looking for this. They want the relationship. We're created to be relational.
Right.
And this transactional stuff, it doesn't do any good. It really doesn't. What does the best in my mind is having a relationship with somebody that you can trust. That my clients bring me Kohler stuff all the time. Hey, I saw this YouTube of Mark and he was talking about this. I'm like, oh, great, send me a link to that and I'll watch it.
Let me see if I can get this. We got a question here for you. Do you recommend a
Okay.
specific program or an app to keep track of the business expenses, preferably free?
Well, if you want something free, I would say use Excel, because I mean you got to buy Excel, but then once you have Excel, you have it, and you can do you can keep track of your income and expenses on Excel. But you got to be very careful, and you got to make sure you check your formulas and double check. You have to put check figures in there to make sure that this column's adding up properly. So you're going to add it up two different places so you can make sure it adds up. But the software that I like the most, and I know it's not cheap, but it's QuickBooks Online. And I think most businesses can run on the Simple Start program. It's the least expensive one if you don't have inventory, which most people don't. But, service businesses, landscapers, whatever. I mean, you can do invoicing. You can you can have your bank account and your credit cards connected to it. So everything just downloads in there. You don't have to input anything. You just put it in the right categories, and then you go through and reconcile everything, make sure that everything, if it didn't have it on the bank account or the credit card statement, it didn't happen. So we want to make sure that everything that's on these statements is actually in the books. And we also want to make sure if there's something on the books that's not in these statements, why isn't it? Did someone forget to deposit it? Did it get deposited in a different account that wasn't your business account? I mean, there's all sorts of little things like that. Yeah. But going back to your question, I would say QuickBooks Online, Simple Start. It's like $30 or $35 a month, right? That's nothing. And then if you want something free and you're still kind of small, I would say use Excel, because once you get a little bit bigger, you're not going to want to use Excel, because you want to be able to run a profit and loss. You can't run a profit and loss with Excel. Well, you could. I mean, if you're one of those fancy young ones that know how to sit there and do all the macros and make all these fancy reports with Excel, go for it, because you can actually have it say, all right, well, this is my skeleton for my profit and loss, and these are where all the numbers are. So this row, the total for this row goes here, and the total for this row goes here, and so you can build your own financial statement. I just thought of that.
The problem that I have when people use Excel is they're thinking that you can just take an Excel worksheet and put your revenue and then your expenses, and that's your profit, and they're thinking that that's the financials. That's only one piece. That's going to be the profit and loss, but you still need the balance sheet, and you're not going to have your assets listed on an income statement. So that's why you need a program similar to what you're saying, the QuickBooks, that can actually separate your assets, liabilities, and your equity to the business apart from the profit and loss. Because at the end of the month, your profit and loss is at the end of the year, you're gonna roll it into the retained earnings on your balance sheet. So that's just neither here nor there. But just to let you know, it's okay to use Excel, but not for a long time, because you really need that balance sheet side. You need that other side of your financials.
Well, and another thing that, like when you mentioned that, QuickBooks Online, you can actually run like prior years and things like that. So you can run all different kinds of reports. When you just have Excel, you're just limited to what you have there. It's hard to do the comparatives unless you actually rebuild an entire trial balance, which would have your assets, your liabilities, your equity, your income, your revenue, and your expenses and all that. But yeah, I prefer moving into an S corp as you start growing, and earning more money.
Yeah.
You have to have financial statements to put on the return.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But great question.
Good question. I think that came from Lala Mala. Yeah, Melina. Okay.
Lala.
Yep. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so give us a third one then. Third tip.
Okay.
To close it up. Give us a third tip.
I like the self-directed crypto Roth account. I'll pick that one.
Ooh, okay.
I just opened my own.
Okay.
I just finally did. And the nice, cool thing about it is I went to Directed IRA, which is Mark Kohler's company, Mark and Matt. And I said I want to set up a crypto Roth. So they set up the crypto Roth. They also set me up with my crypto account, my wallet. And so I transferred money into my Roth account. They transferred it into my wallet. And then I went in and picked like 10 different cryptos to throw it in. But here's the beauty. You put money into the crypto Roth. So it's a Roth. So anything you put in, when you're ready to take it out later, after 59 and a half or after how many years you've had it, you can actually, you don't pay tax on the money you pull out, but you don't pay tax also on any of the earnings. So I can buy, sell, trade, stake, mine. I can do all different things in my crypto account, and it's not taxable to me ever. And then as it grows over the next several years, and then I can pull money out, it's not taxable at that point either. But when you do crypto, when you invest, like I have a client who has several million in crypto outside of a retirement account.
Ooh.
So everything's taxable.
Ooh.
And it's a lot of work to track it. In fact, the bookkeeping for crypto is pretty intense. And so I say, get your crypto. Yeah, I know you want to try it. Just get it into a crypto Roth and have fun. But the crypto Roth is just a way to be able to delve into something that we don't really know a lot about because we're learning it. And there's nothing worse than somebody investing in something and they're learning it. And like I have a client that decided to be a day trader. Literally, I mean, he spends all day trading. And he got into wash sales. Now, there's no wash sales in crypto, but there are wash sales in regular, which means if you buy or sell within a 30-day window before and after, you can't sell it and then rebuy. You can't sell at this number and then rebuy it down here. You have rules you have to follow. Well, he didn't know, and he had like $40,000 worth of losses, and he could not take them. Now, it does adjust the basis going forward, so he'll be able to. It's not like he loses it. He just the basis is adjusted, for those losses that he didn't get to take. But in the future, when he sells those assets, but not now. So if you actually have a crypto account and you're doing your trading in there, you don't have to worry about all that. So that's my biggest thing right there with the crypto Roth. And like I said, I've tried it myself because I want to see how easy it is, so that when I'm encouraging a client to do that, I can tell them exactly what they need to do. It's going to cost this much to set up the account. And the money goes in there, you're going to have a wallet immediately, and you can do all your trading, and it's easy. But if you have it outside of a Roth, crypto is not as easy. I mean, it's easy to buy and sell and all that stuff, but it's not that easy to keep track of.
Yeah, and the key thing here,
easy if we have the right format to drop the information in. But the actual tracking of your basis and all that kind of stuff is a little difficult.
Mm-hmm. And the key thing here is now, for the past couple of years, the IRS has had one little line on their tax return on the 1040 that says, do you dabble in, or have you invested or sold or disposed any digital assets? And you have to say yes or no. Just make sure that if you do dabble in crypto or any of that digital currency, that it's a check mark that yes, you do, because they want to know that. Mm-hmm. Right?
And if you don't mark it correctly, that could be a problem.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right.
But that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome that you're dabbling in that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. I'm actually taking I'm going to the crypto conference next weekend that Mark's got. Mark and Matt are doing one day. It was supposed to be in California in Orange County. I already had tickets to go, and then they canceled the live, and now it's just,
virtual.
It's remote only. It's Zoom. So I'm kind of bummed because I wanted to see everybody, but at the same time, I'm super excited about going to it. And then I'm taking a special course with somebody who actually has, I want to learn more about the bookkeeping side of it. So one of the things you're going to find with working with somebody who's one of the certified tax advisors with Kohler or through Kohler is, and I guess I shouldn't speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself. But I'm all about learning more. Like Mandy's got a class, a company that she's teaching classes on certain things to how to input things in the tax returns. I think that's freaking awesome, because just because we're tax professionals doesn't mean we know everything. We know a lot. Mm-hmm, and we need to build a community that we can ask other people. Like I've hired Mandy to consult me on certain situations with rentals. And so, if somebody needs help with me, sometimes people will call me and they'll pay me to consult with them about certain things.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're all doing. We're trying to better ourselves, but we're trying to give the tools to each other so that we can be a team of people that are out here being proactive for the Main Street business owner. I mean, you guys, you're getting your guidance. There's so much stuff online. There's so many weekend warriors that go to these events, and they get bad information.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's our job to, identify that stuff, get you in contact with the attorneys, clean up your entities, talk to you about the different strategies. And while we're doing all of that, behind the scenes, we're sitting on calls with Mark Kohler 3 hours a week, 2 or 3 days a week, we're in Zooms with him. And sometimes if he's not there, he has other people that are other practitioners that are part of our group that will take questions and we'll do case studies or whatever. We've got Mandy's company, Bodner and Clark. It's wonderful. It's a great way for us to actually learn how to make sure that we check every box properly. We don't, because the thing is, you don't want to get audited. So the easiest way, the first thing you got to do is make sure you prepare the return properly. You got to make sure your boxes are checked properly. You know, if you're sloppy on your return, that could cause an audit, and it wasn't even the numbers. It was because we didn't do something right. So I love the fact that we have each other to like build on our skills and be better. And then I'm constantly taking, you know, continuing education, not just the basic stuff that you need for your license. I'm constantly trying to learn. Like I'm doing this crypto bookkeeping course because I want to understand what I might be missing if I just use my regular bookkeeping strategies. You know, maybe there's special software that I need to get, something like that. But that's what I love about this, you know, like what you're doing, you know, Diva, you're bringing this to the masses so that people can be confident and comfortable in what they're doing. They're not going to be afraid. They've got someone they can ask questions to, someone that's going to actually take the time and explain these different, you know, strategies, but understand like why. I'm a why girl. Tell me why and I can do anything. But if you don't tell me why and you just give me facts or give me something to memorize, that's not Terri. I can't figure that out. I got to understand why. Because when I understand why, I can use my common sense and apply it to other things. And that's what I try to do with my clients. And I think that's what a lot of us do with our clients as Main Street certified tax advisors. And it all came. Mark had that dream. He was like, I can't take care of all these people. So what did he do? God blessed us because he said, Mark, I don't know how he said it to him or how Mark got the message, but it was like train up your team, and that's what we're doing. We're the team. He's training us up. We are eating it up, and we're serving it to all of our clients in a beautiful manner, so that our clients can succeed when they hit that retirement spot. They can just step over to their passive side, and they're prepared. And that's what I want. I want to see that. In fact, I can't wait till some of my clients, you know, do retire after we've been doing all these plans, because I want to see how that transition goes. There's nothing worse than having someone go, I'm 65 years old and I don't have anything saved for anything, and I only have my business. If I get sick or I get hurt, I can't do it. Well, that's a terrible situation to hear, and you got to try your best to try and, like, you know, bring everything together and fluff it all up and see what we can do. But they may end up having to work longer to build it up. But there's things we can do to help, and I love that.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone that is listening, listen to Terri Peters. She not only does the work, she continuously tries to better herself and her knowledge. And I think Mandy is on here. And Mandy has, if you are a tax professional out there and you do want to learn more about, I think it's more on the real estate side, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy. But if you do want to learn how to fill these forms out, because there's so many, as Terri said, and Terri is part of that as well. We're not ashamed to call each other and say, hey, show us how to do this. How do you do this? Because we don't want our clients to be in jeopardy of an audit because we checked the wrong box. And with the real estate professionals out there, I know that I have many realtors out there that follow me. Real estate professionals, definitely call Terri Peters. She's here with Mandy Clark, and they know what they're doing. So, I mean, you want people that know what they're doing, that actually care about their clients. So I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy, busy day. I know you went to the last minute before you had to jump on. That's how busy you've been. But you've always been there for me. Thank you. You've always been there for me. I know I could pick up the phone. I feel very comfortable calling you and asking you anything. So I hope and I pray that all these people that register, that you get something out of this. Please, when you look at this on the replay, write replay on it. And we do have, she is going to be giving out that book. And I think it was Carmen Rivera who will probably get the ebook from you.
Oh, perfect. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Carmen. And, you know, Diva, thank you for inviting me. This is the community that I fit the best in my whole life. I mean, I've been working a long time, but even as a mom, I fit better as a tax person than I did as a mom. I mean, I raised my kids, but, you know, this is so much more, fits my personality more. But I love the fact that you have this, you know, your 2 cents, Diva's 2 cents. And I'm really excited for the people that are part of your group to be able to hear not only what I shared, but to just get inspired and to really, like, utilize the person that they're working with. Ask the questions, and if their tax person isn't giving them the answers that they need or want, they can go on Mark Kohler's website and go to the, you know, what is it called? The network. The Tax
the Main Street,
Network.
Tax Advisor Network.
Yeah, and they can find someone. But Diva's one, Mandy's one, I'm one. So, I mean, it's really cool that
It's a community,
are having this
guys. It's
moment
a
that we can
community.
share this.
Yep, it's a community, and we care. We truly, truly care. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Again, we are putting that, Miss Rich, if you can put her contact info in the comments. And the phone, would you prefer email or phone number?
Email's good. You could just put Terri at Tax Time Ledgers, and it's Terri with an I, Terri. So Terri at taxtimeledgers.com, and then my website is taxtimeledgers.com.
Tax Time Ledgers. I love that. Tax Time Ledgers. Love it. Love it.
I know. I made that up when I was in Colorado because I was like a mountain girl, and it was like, the ledger, keeping track of the old time ledgers, because we've got all the old mountain towns, the silver mines and all that stuff. So that's where it came from. But when I moved to Florida, I decided I wanted to keep it, but I changed my logo to have a flamingo in it. So you'll see the flamingo on my website.
Yeah, the website is really nice. I took a look at it. Thank you so much. Okay, you take care. God bless, and we will talk another. And that, my friend, is Diva's 2 cents this week. Thank you.